And away we go, live on a Friday night. Open chat, open chat. I don't have my phone hooked up, or I would say open lines, but the phone I use is in the car and I'm not going to go get it. But only here we are on a Friday night. I didn't have anything to do. Took the wife to the doctor today. Everything is fine. Everything's fine with her. Everything's fine with me. I went to the let's see. I went to the vascular surgeon earlier and I'm doing real fine. Sorry about all this. I gotta make sure everything's all set up right. I kind of just dove in. But here we are. How are you all tonight on this beautiful Friday night over here? See, I'm in my t-shirt. Yeah. And I could talk about Sasquatch, but only I thought, I'm gonna leave it like open chat to all you guys and see what you want to talk about tonight. And I will hi Winter and Chris, what's up? Connie and Cold Warrior, woohoo, man. Hi Kathleen and Lucky One Chuck. John Milano, how's it going, man? And I think I already said hi to most everybody. Um, Jan, I see Jan and Bethany. How you doing on this beautiful Friday night? At least I hope it's beautiful where you are. Over here, it's like 64 or something. Degrees right now, 64. Bethany Smith. Hey. I have a couple of designs. I thought, maybe I might like share some designs. I put one up uh, on this right here, but I've been designing some more T-shirt stuff. My sister bought me this one. I don't know if y'all can see it. Let me see. I'm squatching you, but I think it's something somebody already made up. But I thought it was a cool shirt. So 52 degrees and people are wearing shorts. Right on. Hey, Dire Wolf. Heading back to Riverside. Lucky One Chuck. Right on, man. Wow, it's cool that you can be on the freeway and listening to me. I think that's cool. Really cool. You can't see me because you better not be seeing me, man, if you're on the freeway, unless it's stop and go down there, which probably it is. I've been down there. You sit parked on the freeway more than you do moving on that freeway, at least at certain times of the day. Yeah, so I got me a little coffee. Yeah, I know. But that's not the brand I'm using. Somebody gave me the cup. Hi, Pam. Yeah, so I, I I went to the vascular surgeon. Hi, James. How you doing, bro? I went to the vascular surgeon this week, and they did the other day. Actually, I've been there twice. I got to go one more time, but it's looking pretty good. Like the first time I went, they were checking the pulse down in my foot, and two separate surgeons. They have the little wand like a microphone, and they stick it on there, listening for the pulse, and it came out like one of the pulses down by my ankle. They said it didn't sound right. It was like weak. I was thinking, oh no, not surgery number 3. And they said that they wanted to look at it through an ultrasound, like how they do the babies. And I went in the other day, and the ultrasound guy at first, he was like mean mugging me, and I was trying to joke around because I was nervous. I really don't like those places. So I'm joking around and telling him, is it a boy or a girl? Because he started at my stomach where your artery comes down and then it splits and goes to the right and left side. And then he found the split, and I could hear it. It sounded like a baby heartbeat, but really it's mine. And so I'm joking around, and finally he tells me, hush, just be quiet. Let me do my work. I'm thinking, okay. So I'm just laying there listening. And when he gets down to the femoral artery, where the surgery area is, he's pushing kind of hard, and it hurt a little bit. So I was like gritting my teeth, and at first I wasn't hearing anything, and it was a little bit scary. And then he moved it a little bit, and then I heard it really loud and clear. And he went through the whole thing. He said that he says if you be quiet, I'll answer any questions afterwards. I'm like, oh, okay. So he got all done, and I thought he was going to leave the room so I could put my clothes back on, because he has these weird little shorts that he gave me, paper shorts. And it took me like 20 minutes to figure out which side was the front or the back. It didn't matter. So, I go over to change, and he's still sitting there looking at me. And it was almost getting a little bit like kind of weird. He was staring at me. And then he goes, have you been in here before? And I told him I haven't been back here in this spot, not here. I haven't. He's like, huh. And then he says, you know what? He goes, I know you from somewhere. He goes, have you been on TV? And I told him, yeah. And then all of a sudden, he turned into a different person. He was smiling, he was joking around, and he was like, I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. And so then, he says, do you have any questions? And I ask him usually those guys don't tell you either. They wait till the surgeon actually looks at everything, and they let the surgeon tell, the results. But he goes, man, he goes, I don't know what they seen or heard, but he goes, but whatever it is, he goes, you don't got no problems, man. And then he says, everything looks really good, except for, but only the surgeon will have to really look at it, and you need to get the results from him. He goes, but from what I see, you're fine, man. He goes, I think that they didn't have their little wand right. He goes, they don't know what they're doing. They're surgeons. They don't do it right. So he made it for, he made it, he gave me the results, but he still deferred to the surgeon on the final say so. But that's the first time I ever got the results from just a technician, and I was pretty happy. I walked out of there with, pretty happy. So that means no surgery, hopefully. And even though the surgeon did tell me if they find any like narrowing of the artery, it'll be surgery. And so when they say that, it scares me, because like this would be the third surgery, and where they cut is right in the bend of your groin and your thigh. And I mean it goes right through the middle of it. From like up by your belt line all the way down into your leg, into your thigh. So you can't bend, because if you bend, you might break the femoral artery open, and you'll bleed out before they can fix you. So you have to lay flat for, a day or two or three, sometimes 4 days, depending on how you're healing. So I was happy, real happy, because the technician, he's like saying he doesn't see surgery in my future, but I'll let the surgeon tell you that, because but from what he could see, everything's good. And I was like, yes. Yeah, it's a really big artery. It really is, and it does have. The guy told me it does have some scar tissue building up around it on the outside of it, and he goes, it may be like narrowing just a little teeny bit on the inside, but it's not impeding the flow. You know, he even went all the way down the leg with the little ultrasound wand where he could see the artery down in by my ankle and way down, by, oh, I don't know what you call it, the, all over the foot, really down there. And he said everything looked really good. He didn't see anything that could be a problem. So I was really happy, happy to report that. But on March 5th, I'll know more. So I'm really happy. Yeah, that's it, man. I just got to keep doing what I'm doing. Get out there and I believe you, Pam. The prayers, they work. Prayers work. They really do. And it's all about if you believe, that prayers work, and then you don't doubt that they work. When you got to stand in agreement with everyone, and don't start doubting. Don't let the little doubt sneak in. Even though sometimes God has a different way of doing things than how we think it goes, it still will go good. So I'm really happy. Aw, that's a bummer. Hey, Fire Dude. What's up, man? Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you. I really appreciate it. I do. Um, I accept prayers all the time. Today I took my wife in for a little procedure. She's a little bit sore today, but it's not anything big. It was 10 minutes, in and out. She didn't like it because she's a little bit sore, but everything's cool with her too. The only thing with my wife is her hearing. She's like a little over 50% deaf. And that's her main problem is she can't hear. And right now, one of her hearing aids or one doesn't work at all, and then the other one is starting to get cloggy or something, and she doesn't have the stuff to clear it out. So it's kind of bad because I'm deaf in one ear, and I can only hear with my right ear, real good. So it's a lot of with me and her talking. It's a lot of like, huh, what? Yeah, that's our whole day. What was that? Huh? You know. So we'll just have to keep praying for your friend. I believe that his brain tumor is going to shrink. In fact, right now, I'll pray for it right now. I command the brain tumor to shrink back and die in Jesus' name. And I'm sure that it will. Yeah, like my wife turns, the hearing aid down, So we're even talking about learning sign language, so we could yell at each other. You know. Oh, she's feeling better, a little bit better. Hi, Amanda. I didn't go to the me and Ed's party. I did something else. In fact, I think I went live that night when they were doing their me and Ed party. I was over here talking with you guys, sharing that really weird video of that box with the little weird animals and the duck and stuff in it. Um, I wasn't sure if I really wanted to go to that party or not, and it wouldn't have mattered because I didn't have the gas. to go anyways, and or the money to buy a pizza. So, you I don't like going uh, places and then having to, beg or, hey man, could I steal a slice of pizza from you? Anybody got $5 for gas? I rather just be on my own, than do that. And then, it was who was the whole pizza thing really benefiting anyways, you know what I mean? Like if I go, I would get to see a lot of friends and stuff like that, but um the whole thing really was the same as it always has been for a long time, me, but not me, him. There you go. Hi, Renee. What's up? Yeah, it costs bucks it costs bucks to sue. I hope that I hope she has some help from Todd Standing because he's I think he actually was like help started her off on that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Mulder gets all the credit. Yep, you're right. Yeah, I mean, I know Isaiah. How's it going, my brother? I know you guys would share with me. Even Jeff would have shared with me. I mean, I know that, and I would have went really, but I didn't have the gas, and I had been out all day with Adolf. Me and Adolf went out. We shot some good video, and then I came back and edited it and went live and told everybody about it, and then put it up so everybody could see it. And the box with the flags and stuff, man, that is weird, man. There's more weirdness going on, not just at Avocado Lake and Kings River. There's some weirdness going on the Kings River too, all the way out too. I mean, we went way out there to Mendota, and it was we're finding that the Bigfoot's probably all down through there, just like they are on the Kings River. And I seen somebody go by. Hey, Craig, what's up? Yeah. Hey, Adolf, how you doing, man? Yeah, I don't know if it's a off. What's kind of weird is the flags. Like I wouldn't even have stopped. I mean, you could ask Adolf. We weren't intending on stopping right there, but there is a box with flags hanging off it. And I'm like, wait, stop! I want to see what this is. And then when we looked in there, it was like, whoa, that's weird. And I was letting my wife look at it the other day, and she's like, seeing me put my hands in it and touching stuff, she's like, "Did you wash your hands?" But when we got to the restaurant, I got a bunch of that hand sanitizer stuff out of the restaurant, and I I cleaned my hands good with that. So it wasn't too bad. You know what I mean? I was clean. I was clean. I'm sure that if a Bigfoot got some pizza, he would be hooked forever. I think they like what we like. I'm going to start leaving them 12 packs out there, and I'll have to hide them real good, because everybody likes a 12 pack. Maybe I can put it way up in a tree, tie a rope around it, and then pull it up in there and tie it off so nobody could see it. See if they like Bigfoot beer. the link to finding the box. It's right on. It's like the last video that I put up on my. It'll be the newest video on my YouTube channel. Uh, I can't remember what I named it though, but the picture of the video is the box. I think. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and then it had a dead hawk, like that it's rare to find a dead hawk, real rare. I mean, I lived in the foothills for 22 years, and out of all those years, I don't think I ever saw a dead hawk on the side of the road. Any other thing, though, little, road runners, stuff like that, but I've never seen a dead hawk. And that was the very first place we stopped. I mean, one thing I can guarantee, if you go with Adolf, it's always an adventure every single time. I mean, it is so fun. I mean, really, it's an adventure. Hello, Aaron. How you doing? You know what? I asked. I thought it had like an Asian look to it. The flags and stuff like that, because it was like bamboo sticks, and then the like green and yellow flags, paper flags, and the way it was, like when I first saw it, but before I even looked in it, I thought that looks Asian. So I've been asking the Asian community, and they have no idea so far, or they don't want to tell me. I don't know. What's up, Sword Point? Did a show with Sword Point. It was a good one. We talked about the box and showed that picture. It was a good show. You know what? I think I could maybe put the address. Did you put it? Did you put the link up for it? I might be able to do it. Yeah, I saw you were gonna do another one, man, but then I couldn't find it. I couldn't find if you did or not. I'm enjoying this court ride. Me and Adolf talked about that. Like when it gets warm, even though there's no snow up there, a couple of my friends were up there and took some pictures. I mean, there's some snow, but it's not like deep. It's patchy, and only a couple inches deep where it is at. In fact, a couple of my friends just got back from Yosemite, and they hiked all the way up to Nevada Falls, and there was hardly no snow there either. I mean, we're really having a, um, we're really having a dry winter this year. No snow. I mean, we really need the snow. I hope this dry stuff doesn't keep going for like 3 or 4 more years. I really we need the snow. They let us have and I know it's all controlled. They're doing weather modification. They're stopping the rain from here. What they're doing is they're trying to knock out all the farmers. That's what they're really trying to do. Make them go broke, so they lose all the land. They lose their land, and then these big agro businesses are coming in and they're buying up all the land, and they're going big agro. And what this is just me, and I've heard rumors that because it won't let you add the show in comments. Huh, I wonder why. Let me see. I wonder if I can fix that. Um, okay, try it now. it should let you do anything now. But I heard that because California, like we're like the breadbasket of the world, and we can grow anything in our valley, and it's huge. When I think these big agro businesses, what they're gonna do is they're gonna legalize pot all over the place, like in a lot of states. And over there, like say Colorado, you can't grow it every all the time in Colorado, and in the northern areas, but over here they could grow it year round, right? It doesn't die back from the frost. It slows down, but it doesn't die back. It doesn't get cold enough to kill them. So they could go into, a real grow season over here, and they could grow enough pot for the world over here. And from what I understand, that's what they want to do. And the first thing they got to do is put the farmers out of business. In fact, Devin Nunes, the congressman, has some videos about what they're doing here. And even before he was a congressman, he went to some meetings, and this is what they were telling him. So, I mean, he knew about this before he even went into Congress. And they've implemented their plan, and they're going for it. And I heard they're even putting water meters on everybody's wells out there. And so, charge them an arm and a leg for the PG&E use, charge them an arm and a leg for, pumping water out of the well, charge them for, like, when they put their pump on the canal, it has a meter. So when they're pumping the water out of the canal, they're getting charged by the acre feet. I mean, they're just making it impossible to do business for small farmers, and I just hope that they don't win. It's Agenda 21 they have it spelled out. They want to, and whatever land they don't buy out of the valley, they want to lock everyone out of the wilderness areas and make it where nobody could go in there. And they're doing, I don't know how many people keep up with the forestry department in California, Coyote, but they're expanding the wilderness areas. So no vehicles. You could hike in there with a permit, but no more. I mean, they're cutting down the areas. They're cutting down the areas where the public can go. And some of the wilderness you're not even allowed to go. They don't want any human anything. They want it to go back to the wild. And what they're trying to do is put everybody into cities. They want to stack everybody up in cities. They have more control that way. If everybody's all split up all around everywhere, they don't have that much control. But if they could get everybody into cities, and then they can implement laws, you can't garden, you can't this, you can't have a gun. If they put a curfew, you're locked in, and if everybody wants to run out, then everybody can't get out because they lock the roads down. I mean, it's Agenda 21. And if you want to know more about it, look up Agenda 21. There's actually a PDF file put out by the United Nations. That's the ones actually doing this. And they're like halfway in their plan. I mean, they started a while back with Clinton, I think, when Clinton was in office. And actually, we're planning it way before that, but Bush's all were for it. Clinton was for it. Obama was way for it. I mean, he was actually putting the capper on the whole deal, and then they were supposed to pass it off to Hillary, and that didn't happen. Now we're in a war. There's a deep state, there's a war going on right now in our government right now. The white hats against the deep state. And I hope the white hats win. I really do, and I don't want anything else to happen. Yep, exactly, Sword Point. Exactly. I mean, when you control access in and out, um, then you have full control. And then they don't want people with guns and torches and pitchforks running out, and where they lose control of the situation. They don't want that to happen. Okay, June. I'm down for June. Yeah, it is, man. It really is, Chuck. It's really bad. And Sword Point Nine, man, he knows a lot about this stuff. I mean, he's an insider. I'll give you that right now. And y'all should go check out his web. Right now, there's only one show on it, I think, the one me and him did. But it's about Bigfooting and stuff like that. But only there's one show on Sword Point Nine. We I helped him get going on YouTube, and we got one show down, and everybody should go subscribe to Sword Point Nine. Go over there and give him a hand. I guarantee you're gonna love the topics because he knows what's going on in this deep state and the war that's going on with the white hats and the deep state. He's like well connected and with a lot of experience. So he might even explain what Sword Point Nine means. A lot of people don't know what that means. I didn't know what it means. Google that. It's an interesting thing. Now he's probably going to want to slap me the next time he sees me. Like, don't tell him that. Don't say go Google Sword Point. No, that's pretty good. No, Sword Point Nine isn't deep state at all. Like they probably fear this guy for reals. Yeah, I got that Jack Link's mug behind me. My granddaughters that are in Indiana, or really, it was two granddaughters and a grandson. They picked it out for me. Only it came with no jerky in it, but that's okay. I got the mug. Yeah, the cities are going to be concentration camps. That's what they want. Yeah, I think Bigfoot's in Africa. I'm not real sure, but I would say like in the Western Africa where all the jungles are. I would say that he could be in there. I normally could take calls. I left my phone in the car. I could go get it, I guess. I could take a little break and go get my phone. And I have a phone here. Only I don't want to put this phone number I have. I don't want to put out to the public, but I don't know if I have you on it or not. Um, but I think I can message you the phone number. Like if anybody wants to call me and I know you in Facebook, I can message you the phone number if you want to call in. And I can do that. Play some music. Um, I could do Skype too, but only there. I don't have it set up for the mix minus for the. I'm not sure how the Skype works. I want to play with it. I mean, I don't want to do that. I don't want to like mess up the show by having this funky Skype going. I could try it. You want to? I'm afraid it's gonna mess up on me though, cause I never did it yet, and I was see the way I have my microphone and everything set up isn't like how your setup is. if anybody calls on Skype, then they hear their self, and everybody hears like double, like here's an echo off of all of us, and they call it a mix minus, where I have to actually set the mixer board up a certain way where that doesn't happen. But I do have a phone. Let's see here. I don't know the number. I'm gonna I'm gonna send you a message. So be looking for it. Let me see here. Oops. So Odie has a topic. What's your topic, Odie? I forgot the dash. But I sent you a message. I'm gonna turn off the ringer. And then I'm gonna put this in here. All right. Okay. Let me see this one. I'll turn it like right there. All right, so I'm ready to take a call. Right on, Cold Warrior. That's right. I'm not sounding that good. Am I losing my signal right now? I hope not. I think I'm okay. Let's see. How does that sound right there? Yeah, I don't want to blast you guys too much, too. I've been watching the sound and I'm like peeking out just a little bit, like, and I don't want the background noise to also come through because I have a computer like right close to me, and I took the sides off the computer, and it has five fans in it, and the fans are loud. So I have the equalizer on the mixer board set so I don't pick up everybody's sound, or pick up the computer sound and all that. But I do have the phone now hooked up. And if anybody wants to call me that is my Facebook friend, um, you can message me and I'll send you my phone number that way and you can call. Can anyone guess what that huge tower in Area 51 is? The the tower, the one that looks like a big dish, like a big satellite dish thing? Is that what you're talking about? Healthcare insurance? That's pretty squatchy. Your paranormal, Odie. Healthcare insurance. Unless there's some kind of conspiracy. The triangle one? I don't know. I haven't seen that one. If I had a guess, I would say it was some kind of a I would say it holds microwave dishes on there. I would say it's like a regular radio tower. It's just the tower part, but on the side of it will be microwave dish, cell, antennas. I think it's just to hold antennas and microwave dishes and stuff like that. You tried to call, and I have the sound off, so I'll call you back. but I don't hear anything like. Aha! I hear something. Can you guys hear
Hello,
that?
Alan.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Outstanding. How you doing, brother man? You're sounding good.
Really good. You sound good too. At least
Awesome.
I think. How does he sound, you guys? Should I fix it up a little better, or does that sound okay?
We'll see what they think.
All right. Yeah. So how's everything, man?
Everything's been really busy the past few days, if
Really?
you haven't noticed.
Yeah, I noticed. There's a lot.
Yeah,
There's a lot going on, man. A lot.
there's way a lot going on, brother. They did get 17 Russians. Guess what? They're all tied to uranium one.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Capital U, capital O.
they're starting to dig up the dirt now. Finally, huh?
Yep. And they've always had the Clinton investigation just on hold for the foundation. That's getting hit. I'm not going to get real political on your show.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you the facts is what's happening. To me, it just makes me laugh because either way, uh, that was a poor choice for the other side.
Yeah.
And, it's only going to, well, I mean, shoot, they took down a plane of 71 people to get one guy who was involved in, the uranium one deal.
Right.
I can't think of his name right now, the Russian.
So where do you
But,
think we're at right now? Are is like which side? Like, are they on the run? Do we have them on the run? You think? Like, are they really scrambling and lawyering up and all that stuff?
oh, yeah, they're lawyering up right now as we speak. Like I've said consistently, and you know this, brother.
Mm-hmm.
We have epic talks, folks. If you guys haven't been on the lines, and so what ends up happening? Here's what's going to probably shake out. They already have one guy who is the head of intel for the FBI cooperating, and he was mentioned one time by Judge Janine. So it's open source. When I'm talking to you about something, I know it's already came out.
Right.
But the talking to the FBI has not. And he's talking to Congress. Or DOJ, the new DOJ. So he's cooperating. And the whole past, honestly, if you go back to the Clinton era and even Bush Sr., that's why they're panicking. They've set this deep state up to run as an efficient machine, and they counted on having either a Bush in again or a Clinton because they knew they'd be loyal deep staters. You can say that Jeb Bush was a neocon, of course, but people forget that Hillary was a democon.
Yeah.
She's the same thing. It's two, like I've always said, it's two heads feeding the same snake body.
Right.
And since Trump got in, they weren't ready for that.
I don't think anybody was.
No.
I seen a lot of people crying, man, and they don't even really know what's going on. I mean,
well, you're right. You're absolutely right, Alan. I mean, think about it, brother. It kind of blows me away. The guy can't be bought. He's got billions.
Yeah.
He's got Melania. He's not going to go around and screw around on that.
He would be an idiot if he did. I mean, like, you can't find better than that. I mean, come on. It's what's the old saying the guys always say? If it ain't better than what you have at home, then it ain't worth it. So
Yep.
it ain't worth it to him by a long shot.
Right. In the chat, I see somebody ask if Russians are a part of the deep state. No, but you remember the whole dossier? Everybody calls it the dirty dossier. I call it the fraudulent dossier because that's exactly what it was. They perpetrated a fraud upon FISA court when they attested to it. So, by the way, you guys, just a little back history on me. I guess I should have said something about this. I did work for the government. I've been a contractor. I've worked around the world. That's just my back bio. I was in the Army first, the Marine Corps after that. military police and military intelligence. So, anyways, that's enough of that out of the way.
Yep.
But what I will say is, remember, the fraudulent dossier was saying Russian collusion. Well, with these indictments, it's proving that Uranium-1 was done during. You got to remember, the Russians paid Bill Clinton to come over and give a nice speech to his foundation. They figured a way to launder money. Not since the days of Mena, Arkansas, with the SNL scandal they had. And that's what the SNLs were, was a way for the CIA to launder money. And I'll tell you this, that whole thing is proving that the collusion was not on Trump's side. It was on deep state side.
Oh, sure.
So, it's not that the Russians are a part of the deep state, but the deep state colluded with them.
Well, the deep state, it's like worldwide, and they have their. It's not just our state has a deep state. It's like the British have a deep state, and all the other countries have a deep state. You know what I mean? And they're all working together. And
the Five Eyes definitely work together.
You could put it like a UN moniker on it. You know what I mean? Like,
right?
Kind of like, and probably I'm right on the money there.
In a lot of ways, yeah, but the Five Eyes are really what you would consider the real cooperatives. You guys can look that up and see what it is. I don't really want to get into a big, long dissertation. Snowden mentioned it, I think. I think it was him. I know somebody else outed it. It might have been Benny. I can't remember.
What do you think about Snowden? Like, I've been hearing he's actually a bad guy, right? Set up to be a good guy, a whistleblower or something like that.
I'm on the fence on that because I think two things. I think the American people, and you know this from as long as we've known each other, it was a good thing that the American people got informed. I think it was goofy that he ran to Russia afterwards, because if you are going to be a whistleblower, then you should face the music for it and stand on your word and not run away from it.
Right.
And I've whistleblown before.
Yep.
So I didn't run. So it says something about his character. Just like you can tell a lot by somebody's son or daughter as to how the parents are normally. Mm-hmm. There is the aberration, but normally you can tell character because you build good character if you have good character. And that's all I'll say about that. But I mean, all you have to do is, the reason I brought that up was Trump's kids reflect what he is. And yes, he's a degenerate, but he's from a generation where plain speaking was still acceptable even when I was a young man.
Right.
And I'm going to be 50.
Yeah.
So I respect plain speaking. The whole SJW cultural Marxist movement that we have on our campuses that have made our kids basically brain dumb. My son got out of school without it. So, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it has a lot to do, like you said, with how they're raised at home. I mean, like, they won't accept freely the brainwash type thing they get at school if they're getting the proper attention and even like spankings and stuff like that, but correction, right. I guess I should say corrections at home and guidance and stuff. That way the school doesn't become that. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Because if they're not getting that at home, then the school becomes that, where they get everything there. I can't believe people that pay a whole bunch of money for a PhD to get brainwashed. I mean, they go in and they're like pro guns and this and that, and regular people, and then they come out and they're like far left, really trippy. Kind of trips me out, Go to school and you can't pay off the loan either. I don't even know why they would be happy about that. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
they can't even pay their loan off, but they still agree with all them idiots that put them in debt forever.
I'll tell you this. It's the biggest scam the government had. They finance all the student loans, convince the kids to go to school and become a lifetime student. When I went through school, I paid for it with my VEEP, Veterans Educational benefit. And I also hand paid, after I got my undergrad out of the way. So, I paid classes at a time.
Yeah.
But see, that's not the mentality now. And so these kids do come out with $100,000 debt that they can't bankrupt off of.
Right. Yeah, you can't bankrupt.
So, it is a scam. But when you look at the Frankfurt School, and that's the roots of cultural Marxism, that you'll find the answer as to why the schools, when Frankfurt School infected Columbia, they took over all the academia, infected Hollywood, and all the media now. So pretty much, I don't believe anything I see on the media. I'll look at both far left and far right, and on the extremes on both. And the answer does lie in the middle normally. Sort of, I'm a big fan of what what's his name? David. Can't think of his last name right now. It's eluding me. But he coined a phrase and a simple idea. It's called open source intel. So you get your information through open source, and what daggone data mining Facebook does, you can just go down your friends list and data mine a lot of stuff a lot of times.
Oh yeah.
So
Like
if you know what you're looking at.
I did some. I was doing some this morning, and I came across some MK Ultra documents that were.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole document and how they were supposed to have stopped doing it and stuff like that, and it was going into how they supposedly stopped it, but only really what they did was they expanded it and they called it something else, and they were using drugs and all kinds of stuff, and they were even dangling heroin to heroin addicts. Like they would
Mm-hmm.
give them heroin and let them go shoot up, and then they had them sign these things giving away their rights where they could use any kind of drug on them and do experience, and they would do it because they get heroin.
Oh yeah, they're MK Ultra and all of its predecessors, and like Artichoke and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and even some of the stuff they still run. That's been very widely written about. Julian West, was one of the main advocates of like LSD research with it, and Timothy Leary actually was a paid for guy by the CIA. And there's two authors I've read on. I can't think of the one gentleman. He talks about. I can't remember his name, and I wish I could, because he's real super liberal, but he's probably got one of the best books on like Jimi Hendrix and the connection between like him and what's the guy from the Doors? I can't think of the singer's name now. Sorry.
I
Old
can't
age,
think of it
folks.
either. Oh man,
Whatever, I can't. Anyways, Jim Morrison.
Morrison.
Anyways, those two. Jim Morrison's dad was an admiral in Navy intelligence. I guess somehow Hendrix got involved with. They say like it would have been probably Artichoke during his era, and that's why he was all into the LSD. But they have real strange ties. Man, I really want to remember that name for you folks. And then the other one is Jay Dyer, and he writes a book called Jay's Analysis, and that goes pretty deep into Hollywood and some of the bizarre stuff that goes on there that we've all seen break in the news now. So I mean, nothing's. I'll tell you the one thing that Trump did do, he shook everything up
Yeah, he did.
culturally and governmentally. And so I can't say that's a bad thing, in my opinion.
Well, I
And
think
I'm the
there's
foremost expert on my opinion.
yeah. Well, I think there's way a lot going on that we don't know yet. You know what I mean? Like, I have a feeling there's people running scared. I have a feeling there's people rolling over, like left
Oh,
and
yeah.
right. You know what I mean? Like they know, like they're the underlings or whatever, and they've been doing all the dirty work, and they don't want to go down with them. You know, they knew it was bad, wrong all along. You know, and it was either like do it or take the heart attack pill. You know what I mean? Like, so they were stuck. But now
Well,
that they have a chance, they'll roll over on them like right now.
I'll tell you what. It makes me laugh when you said that because there's proof of something that just happened within the past few days. There's a reason why Susan Rice, as the Trump administration's coming in and the Obama administration no longer had access to any of the computer systems, quick puts in a note to remind herself, remember, Obama said to do everything legally.
Right.
We're not doing anything illegal. You know, it's like, oh, okay, so you're trying to basically leave a breadcrumb, and then you're going to play it like I'm the great person, I'm the savior. So, you know, it's kind of funny to me, but I really don't want to get too deep into that. But yeah, there are people that realize the jig is up and the shit is going to hit the fan.
Yeah. Well, I bet it's hitting it all over the place, and only the media knows too. But only they're not going to go there. They're going to stay with the narrative, right? That they have. In fact,
Well,
I heard that they're getting narrative dumps like 4 a.m. and they're actually using the Snowden, the whistleblower websites. That's where they're getting their information from every 4 a.m. They get their talking points and stuff like that of what they're going to talk about that day.
well, you can tell on every media channel, it echoes the same thing. Fox, I haven't seen a lot of echo chamber, but it does happen. And I find it odd. It was a Senate bill. Okay, everybody remembers the Hearing Protection Act was coming up for a vote, and that was right before, it was the day after the Vegas shooting. It was supposed to come up for a vote. I don't want to lie to you guys on this act, but there was another act on anti-terrorism, and I want to give you the number so you can look it up, folks. And I was questioning some things about the Florida shooting, and then all of a sudden, it's a House HR 4918, Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act of 2018. So that's what was coming down the pack the following day.
Wow.
So
You know what I learned today? Like I've been hearing that since that school shooting, right?
yeah,
And then I was couldn't sleep. You know, had to get up early, take a wife to some kind of appointment today. Only and so I was watching the Late Show with what's his name, and I used to like this guy, right? The Man Show guy, and
okay,
I can't remember his name either, right? But then
right.
he's like already harping on like he thinks everybody needs to lose their guns. That's how he was talking, and he was saying that thanks to Trump now any mentally ill patient can get the guns. So then this morning I'm like, serious? Like serious? Did Trump do that? So I started researching what did Trump do? What did Trump do, right?
Right.
Well, what it really was, it isn't anything. It was not taking the guns or making it easier for mentally ill to get guns. What happened is Obama and those guys they made a law or whatever they call it. I can't even remember. I'm bad too. I can't remember names, but they signed an executive order that made it where vets couldn't get a gun, right? And they were saying they were mentally ill, and it was because they were having a hard time filling out their Social Security forms, all right? They're not
Hmm.
deemed mentally ill. They just can't fill out they just are having a hard time filling out their forms and they needed help filling them out. So then they use that, like, take away the guns from the vets. They don't want they don't want the vets to have guns at all, right? Those guys are the trained guys. Those guys could be the leaders, you know what I mean? So, like, take the guns away from them. And so it didn't have anything to do with the mental health issue, like, over the whole United States. It was just for the vets only, and only the ones that needed help filling out their social security forms and their veteran
their
papers.
their VA forms, and that was an executive order. And I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, Trump overturned that. That was one of the EOs
Right.
that he got rid of.
Yeah,
So
and only now the Man Show guy is saying that he did it, he overturned that, and that was for all mental disability people where they could go buy guns. And I was like, nah, that didn't sound right. That didn't even sound right to me. But after I looked it up, it was like, it isn't what it is. It's actually a lie. So that
right,
guy,
it is a lie.
he's coming out on national TV at night with millions of viewers, and he's lying, straight up lying, you know, to everyone, and that's
Well, it's just
wrong.
like it is, but it's just like when Obama was in office. He would give out an executive order and act like it was going to handle all Americans. All an executive order does is it tells you this is what the federal government's going to do by executive fiat. He has that right.
Right.
And but it's only for the federal government. But if you remember, on a lot of I did this, I had to sign this, and all the way that he used to do stuff, and I did it for you, and he would
Right.
go on like that, and in actuality, it doesn't affect anybody.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree. Yeah, I agree totally. I do. Well, I mean, I think that now that he overturned that one executive order, there shouldn't be any reason a vet can't have a gun. I mean, they're the more trained. And, well, I mean, there is other people that, like me, that grew up with guns and probably just could handle any guns, but only the majority is they're trained, in all kinds of stuff. And that's what he really was trying to do. He was trying to start disarming everyone. So disarm the vets, right? Disarm, and then start doing these school shootings and disarm everyone if they can. But it's like the school shooting thing's getting old. Like,
Yeah.
they need to come up with something new, because that one, everybody's starting to get tired of that one. They're starting to figure it out. That when the kids come out and say, "Oh yeah, there was shots coming from over here and shots coming from over there," there was more than one shooter, and then the guy
Yep.
that they arrested is supposedly running down the hallway with all the other students, right, getting away. Like, what was
Right.
that? What was that? He was just as surprised as anybody else that there was shooting going on. That.
That that's what they say. The funny thing, I will correct on one thing. Veterans who are convicted on a court martial, like the guy who shot up that church in Texas,
Oh yeah.
who have, and that actually was a failure. They say a failure from the Air Force to report that, which, being a former military policeman, I find that hard to believe that a provost marshal or a courts martial would not have uploaded that. By law, it's mandated that you upload that into the file, the criminal file. And the other thing that I find very hard to believe, or not hard to believe, but the other thing that would prelude is a veteran that does have a serious, like, traumatic brain injury and just is, whacked out,
Well,
or if they're prescribed.
they really have a mental disorder then, and then they can't have a
Right.
gun, or they're a
And
criminal and they can't have a gun. I mean, that falls under that law. Still, we have those laws already.
no, I agree, but I'm saying uh, a disability, and I think that even a temporary disability, if somebody's taken SSRIs,
Yeah.
because it's been shown that it causes suicidal tendencies and also homicidal tendencies. That's the one thing all these school shootings have in common, and that's by FBI stats. That's not me making it up, folks. And that's the one common denominator. And at least while somebody's taking one of those psychotropic drugs, they should not be allowed to have a firearm or until they've at least detoxed. That would be my thought process on it, but who am I?
Yeah, well, I agree with you there. I mean, and those laws, they're already in place for that. You know what I mean? I mean, that's not circumventing any mental illness laws. You know what I am? But only there's no reason that somebody that has an alcohol problem or is living on the street because he can't afford anything because he can't fill out his social security paper, when he finally does get himself on his feet, he can't own a weapon. You know what I mean? That's not right.
Right.
You know it. And I mean, the worst part is that man show guy. I can't remember his name, but the guy that was the Man Show, and
Right.
you would think a macho guy like the Man Show guy wouldn't even be up there saying that stuff, except for he's probably um, getting paid a lot of money to stand up there and do that. And he even was crying too. He was crying. He actually was shedding tears for the people at the school. You know, it was making me sick. I was saying,
Somebody just posted a name. I just now opened up the chat again.
yeah, Jimmy
Jimmy
Kimmel. That's
Kimmel.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The Man
Yeah.
Show, Jimmy Kimmel. He's a crybaby. If you see him on his show last night, he was actually crying. And I mean,
I
it
saw
is. It's a
snippets of it.
travesty, whatever. It's a travesty, but, it doesn't mean take our guns away from us. What the heck? Dude.
Well, he's just a typical, I don't even want to get into it. Like I said, I'm not going to bring politics onto your show, brother.
Well, there
But
is one thing I want to bring up. Something that you said twice already. We said it on, I don't know if we said it on your show or not, but only it's an interesting thing to me. Like, I always want to go over there to where you were serving and go in the places that you were going, and some of the museums and look at the actual real artifacts and stuff. And then you told me about the Garden of Eden in a way that I never even thought of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I never thought of that before like that. And
You want me to explain my whole theory on that?
yeah, to let everybody in on that one. That's a
Or,
great theory.
yeah, well, this is just because I do believe in what the Bible has written and what it says. And, when Adam and Eve were cast out of the Garden of Eden, God set angels to guard it. Well, up in Mosul, I've spent a quarter of my life in the Near East, or the Middle East, as Americans call it, and that's both from the Gulf War on. And what I'll tell you that amazes me is going up in Mosul past the walls of Nineveh. We're heading back to Merez one day, and I thought, Mesopotamia and Nineveh and all that stuff's mentioned, and it's all pretty close together. And by this time I'd traveled from Al-Qut, Ad-Diwaniyah, Baghdad, up to Mosul, and already been up to it's in what now they quote unquote call it Kurdistan, but it's why am I mind up on the name of it? Sulaymaniyah, at Sulaymaniyah, and I just started thinking, man, God put angels at the Garden of Eden, so that means He didn't take it away. So maybe the Garden of Eden is in some sort of compression, and you came up, I said like paper thin, and you drive through it, but you came up with a better term, like a veil. And I think that was a better way of explaining it, even in my paper thin. And I just thought how many times I might have driven through the Garden of Eden, but my eyes will never see it, So just a little trippy thing that I thought about while I was there. And, it was one of those things that, you don't, it's really weird when you're checking out this ancient stuff and you've read it, you've driven back. Saddam was rebuilding the Tower of Babel, and you drive by it, man, and it wasn't that big or anything. I mean, it's sort of like the Alamo. When you finally see it, it lets you down. So, it wasn't all that, but it was kind of neat. So That's just my thinking.
That was a good one because I mean, like, if you think of quantum science, like I have a friend. Well, everybody knows him, and I can't remember his name right now. Ron Moorhead, and
Okay.
he just wrote a book that he put out recently. It's not new, but it's recent, and it's called Quantum Bigfoot, right? And
Uh huh.
he goes into quantum science, right? Well,
Uh huh.
that what you're talking about of the Garden of Eden could be right there, but it could be like dimensional. It would be quantum science that could explain that. You know what I mean? Where we can't see it with our eyes and everything, and it's there, and the angels are there, and it never left. But quantumly, it changed. He changed it quantumly. I mean,
Hey,
in the where the angels reside. You know.
Direwolf 3 made a comment that that would tend to, because I was just now opened it up again, and it said, didn't it get buried in the flood? Well, if uh, if it was transdimensional, like you're saying that your friend says, that kind of theory, then yes, it probably would have been flooded, but would it have in that other dimension? So that you just raised something for me to even think about there. I don't know, but I just thought, it was just I had something weird happened to me while I was in the Middle East and another country, and so I just started thinking a little differently because I went from being a total skeptic and on a whole lot of stuff to, I'm open to stuff. I'm trying to keep my language clean on your program, brother,
Oh,
because
you could
you're a
be.
family-friendly program. But
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
it
Right.
it opened my eyes that there is something out there that's supernatural, and like I said, uh, it's it's out there, man. So
Well, what about like now? I've read. Actually, I think I was watching some YouTube videos and doing some research on exactly what you're talking about, and I think it was a little bit before you saying anything about the Garden of Eden, but only I saw something, right? I saw something on your show. I talked about it, that thing with the big red eyes
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
with the dragon wings, and it made
yeah.
me.
That was wild.
Yeah, well, I was thinking like they're demonic, right? But like maybe a fallen angel or something like that, like an angelic being. Only so that got me researching those because I was trying to find a picture or a drawing of what I saw. I never found anything. I can take pieces of different things like a dragon and a Mothman and a Bigfoot, and I can put them all together and I can make something that looks like that. But I never seen one that's all together like that. But
Right.
while I was looking over there in that area where you're talking about, they have a dam that's a prison,
Yeah,
and
it's Haditha.
yeah, and these guys they don't like going in there, right? I mean,
Right.
they hear stuff down there, and
Right.
supposedly some of these fallen angels are chained under it. So
Yeah, they're cast into it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's why they put
Yeah.
the dam there too, something like that. It's like there's this big story on it, and I thought, man, have
No,
you ever got close to that?
no, that's legit. Um, that those stories are not made up from. I never experienced that, but I had brothers of mine that I went to a different place to work for a minute, uh, and then all of a sudden these other guys went there, and when we got back together in Baghdad, and we were all chewing the fat, they were saying they would draw straws and stuff. Nobody wanted to go down there to do the interviews with anybody. So yeah, there's some legitimacy to that. These guys are dudes that I know that would not be BSing, so.
And normally wouldn't be drawing straws either, right?
No, heck no.
They'll be
These
like,
dudes got ball.
"Yeah, I'm going
These
down there, man." Like oh no, I'm going down there. No, I am. It's like let's
Yeah,
draw straws. No.
yeah. These guys have balls that clank when they walk,
Oh, cool.
and they they lived for the job, and yeah, they were spooked. They were like, you lucked out, man. That place is freaky,
Yeah.
and I don't like I said, it's all secondhand, but I believe them. So
Yeah. What was the name of it again? They're asking in the chat. It was
Haditha Dam.
yeah. Because you can Google that and there's a bunch of
Yeah,
stuff on that. Really, you can find like videos and people writing about it. And I'm not talking about Americans either. I mean, there is some Americans writing about it, but there are
right.
also some native folks around there, or I don't know. I don't know if that's the right name, but
No, it's
people,
the right name.
indigenous,
Haditha Dam.
the indigenous people. They write about it too, and they'll tell their stories on YouTube. And I think there's even recordings of sounds.
Yes.
You know,
Uh,
that's
That's what
pretty.
I was told. I was told it's like the guys were like, dude, it's like insane because you're hearing stuff and you're thinking that maybe it's some prisoners doing some wild crap or riots broken out, and all of a sudden there's nobody out there. You step outside the interrogation room and there's nobody out there.
Dang.
So yeah, I mean, major spook kind of crap.
Yeah, well,
So
that's what we have running around in our Washington right now. Major spooks.
well,
I couldn't
right now,
resist. You.
right now it's getting cleaned out. That's what I'm letting you know, and I'm telling you the truth on
Oh, I
it.
know. Yeah.
It's completely. They just weren't. They just weren't ready for old Trumpster. He's playing the Trump card on them. So and honestly, whether I don't, whatever he's doing what he needs to do for the country. I think.
Yeah.
Right now,
Hopefully,
I haven't
huh?
seen him misplay a hand yet, but he can always screw it up.
Sure.
So
I mean,
anybody can.
these guys are ruthless. I mean, they'll and like you said, they killed a whole plane full of people. I remember when we started talking about this like way back, and we were just. I mean, you knew more than I did about it, of course.
Right.
Only we were like what ifing it, like even before Trump,
Right.
what Obama was doing and stuff like that, and how it was
Yep.
going down, and what needs to happen and all that kind of stuff. And you've been pretty right on point. Like Sword Point 9 is a really good name because
I
you've been
I
pretty
told
much on
you.
point, man.
I told you. I told you before the election. If Trump gets in, I knew what he was going to do, and Flynn did exactly what he was supposed to do, and then he got relieved. But there's over 10,000 arrests of pedophiles that isn't making national news,
Right.
but it's been making every local news.
Right. Yeah, in fact, I
So
saw some today,
yeah,
or yesterday. It was like some cop came out in a pink shirt. I think it was on Valentine's Day. 700 and something arrested. Yeah, I think it was Las Vegas or someplace over there. But yeah, I mean they're rooting him out, man, rooting him out, and it's only a matter of time before the one, people that are in the higher ups start realizing, you know what, that no stone is going unturned, and they're going to be turned or gotten.
right.
And I have a feeling they already are feeling the heat from this. And
Well, you
that's
notice who they haven't rolled up yet. They've hit everywhere around it, and me and you talked about it, I think, a long time ago.
yeah,
They haven't hit D.C., and people forget there was a guy who was in the Congress, and his name was Barney Frank, and his boyfriend was operating a brothel in his Washington, D.C. apartment, a male prostitution brothel. But the thing that's funny that the media never said But you can see this on C-SPAN. You can find it somewhere. But the media never said that there were underage boys in there too, right? And Barney Frank got up on the floor of the Senate or the Congress, whatever one it was, makes a speech about the whole thing, doesn't apologize, doesn't resign, doesn't do anything like that. He doubles down and goes, if I go down, all of you are going down too.
Wow. I think I remember that.
Yeah, people's memory. And it comes back, doesn't it, folks? And so this is not new. And it's been going on for successive presidential administrations. And one thing, anyway, so Flynn knew where the bodies were buried in that, and the arrests are happening. It's not going to stop, folks. This is a train that it's like putting on the brakes to a train if they try to stop it. It'll either crash the train or just going to run away.
Yeah, the only thing that bothers me is they don't have any scruples, and they don't care about life. And I already know there's going to be a whole bunch more innocents that die, trying to shut one guy up, all the time. That's what's, somebody that they think has lots of dirt on him. What they don't know is the dirt's there. It doesn't matter how many people they shut up. They already have the evidence. You know what I mean?
Well, that's been a control tool of the CIA, the NSA. The only actors in D.C., in my opinion, right now are, okay, folks, you got to remember there are 97 different federal agencies, and the IG is in every one of them. They have inspector generals in each one of them. Now, IGs are gun carriers. They went to FLETC, just like I did, Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. And they are gun-carrying cops that put handcuffs on people. So when you start seeing these IG reports start flipping, because they're about to, I think one already came out, came out, they're going to be scathing, and people will go to jail. And that's something you need to look at. And the other agency is DIA. Defense Intelligence Agency is the only intel agency I believe in at the moment. Wow. Law enforcement, the only two law enforcement federally I believe in is the IG, and that covers all 97 federal agencies because they're independent. And they have autonomy, and they also have accountability. And so that keeps them good stewards. The FBI is corrupt. The CIA is corrupt. The NSA is corrupt. And when they say it's not the rank and file, yes, it's the rank and file.
Yeah.
When I was working as a federal cop, if somebody was doing something illegal, immoral, or unethical, I had a duty to say something.
Right.
And if you don't say it, you're just as culpable. And under 1984 color of law, you should be held culpable.
Well, they're going back. They're going back even further than 1984. That's actually why it's taking so long.
No. 1984 color of law is a law. It's what if you do something. Either I like to call it the Feasance brothers, misfeasance, malfeasance, or nonfeasance.
Okay.
Any one of those Feasance brothers, you can. And this is for civilian cops. Military police can fall under it. Anybody who's a gun carrier and can put cuffs on and deny you your civil rights. If you violate somebody's civil rights with the Feasance brothers, period, or you do not do your duty, non-feasance, you accidentally screw something up, misfeasance, or you intentionally do it, malfeasance, you're looking at prison time. It's under 18 U.S.C. It is a criminal charge. So it is 1984 color of law. That is the name of the charge, and it was called that because it was put in 1984.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah, that's what they're probably all going to get hit with minimally.
Right, minimally.
And they should.
Well, there's more. They've been there's these guys on, oh man, Alex Jones. What's that guy, Dr. Corsi or whatever his name is, and some of those guys over there with Alex Jones talking about they're going all the way back and gonna show or gonna reveal or undo whatever happened to JFK. I mean, all the way back to there. You know what I mean? The truth is gonna come out all the way back to that. So
Well,
everybody from there to here is culpable. You know what I mean? Like they better watch out.
it's funny to me because the JFK, Trump put out a bunch of it. But one of the documents that got put out in it, they won't release the one that says that, and it's in the sheriff's records, that George Bush Sr. was arrested in Dallas the day of the shooting.
Whoa.
And he's always maintained he wasn't there. And that's in the sheriff's records, but the CIA won't release the fact that he was there. But they did release a picture and the whole story. What about of Hitler in Argentina with a company picture, and that was in the 60s.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
And that's the CIA bringing that out, man.
I was a little kid when all that happened back then. I remember like I never did like the Bush guys. None of them. Never. Like George Senior, he was like the brains of everything. He was like in charge of this, the head of that, and then the vice president, and then the president. And then his son, he was like an idiot, but a lot of bad stuff happened under him. A lot, like 9/11. I think they got rich on 9/11. Tell you the truth. They were the ones taking out all the insurance policies and stuff.
It was a life-changing event for a lot of people. That's all I'll say.
Well, we're still our whole life is still impacted by it. I mean, every time you go to an airport, like I don't know about your state, but our state, I got to go get my license renewed, my driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
And now they have a new driver's license. Like I could get the regular driver's license, but if I get that one, then I can't fly. Anywhere in the United States or anywhere, right? It's almost like a passport ID kind of thing.
That's what it is. It falls under Whitty. That was one of the agencies I worked for, and that was Immigration and Customs Enforcement in Detroit field office. You know this. And Whitty was the Western Hemisphere Initiative for Travel or something. I can't, and identification. I'm trying to remember what it actually meant. I got the whole book. I had to get this whole book and take a whole class on the crap. Anyways, that's you could get a passport card. On south of the border, it was called a Nexus card. North border, it was north border was Nexus. South of the border was I can't remember the name of it because I didn't really run into it. Anyways,
it's all new,
and it was like coming out. It was like a driver's license. Mm-hmm. It's a passport card, and but it was like a driver's license. It wasn't like a passport. Like my passport, you've seen it. The daggone thing has pages in it. It's full of stamps everywhere.
Right.
Daggone. Under the Whitty, they said in the future they wanted to make all states have a single type, like the passport cards, of driver's license that was both electronically able to be read and swipe, and all of your biometrics kept on it.
Jeez.
And so that's probably what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen it, and I don't know about it. Ohio, my state, does not have that yet.
Oh, well, California, we're front running. That.
Okay.
And from what I understand, I don't have a choice. after it started this month, but my birthday falls after the date. You know what I mean? Like so
Right.
I'm getting it no matter what. I don't have a choice. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I haven't done it yet. I don't have the money for it. So I might it might expire for a minute and I'll have to pay a penalty because
Yeah.
because I let it expire.
It's
The
crazy, dude.
yeah.
That's just craziness. Because just like my pickup truck, I let it expire because I hardly ever use it, and I know I'm gonna. You think you'd get only have to pay. Yeah, enhanced ID. Somebody just said that's what they were calling it. Enhanced ID is what it was called.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's it.
uh,
It's not 11:11,
oh,
not here. It's only 8:57.
what's
8:57 where I'm at.
1111?
Oh, the 111 thing. That's
Oh yeah,
Jeffrey likes to bring that up, the 1111 2222. But yeah.
yeah. Yeah, you think that they'd give you like, oh, you only got to pay 6 months for your license. No, you have to pay the full fee, and they'll penalize you for how many months you didn't get it licensed.
That's right.
It's in Ohio too, brother. It's a scam. They need to make money. It's the DMV. They're the same all around. The state making coin.
Yeah, well
It's
you have it like I think your license you don't have to get a smog, right? On your
no,
cars.
no.
Yeah, well biannually we have to get a smog. And then
Wow.
and the fees now, the late fee, they just raised the DMV fees and the license fees, and then they raised how they do the fine. Like the first 30 days it's this much, and then after 30 days it's this much, and then after 90 days it's this much, and it goes up. Like, but
Wow.
if you go a whole year out, your fee is going to be tripled or quadrupled, unless you run a non-op on it beforehand, right? You have to do it before.
Right.
The non-ops don't count after. I mean, you can run a non-op on it, but only you still got to pay all the fees unless you do it beforehand. Yeah, the ID went up
Jiminy.
too. Yeah. Yeah, I feel
Wow. That's
sorry for the
crazy.
employees because they catch us being mad. We go in there and start. We take it out on them. That I know
Yeah.
I do. I'm sorry. I
That's the
apologize in
nice thing.
advance.
That's the nice thing about living in a small town of 14,000 in Ohio. Our BMV, I can go in and be out in 15 minutes, and our employees are happy, you know. And so I don't know, man. I have to pay for my veteran Marine Corps plates. I have to pay an additional amount of money for my plates because they're veteran plates, and it's $114 for my plates. Although you get your initial plate, and then they just give you a sticker after that, so you
Right.
figure how much money they're making. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, a ton. A
Yeah,
ton. They make a ton.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, man. Like I said, I just wanted to call in and shoot a fat with my buddy. We had a great time on the show last week, folks. If you guys want to listen to it, you'll get the entire story. I'll tell you right now, Alan and I had a hoot,
It
and
was
it was a
fun.
good time. We've had conversations like this every time we talk, so we're
Yeah,
just
like
letting you eavesdrop.
only it's like yeah, only now yeah, they're eavesdropping because normally we're like Skyping until the early morning hours like all the time and I enjoy the heck out of it, man. Really. I've learned so much from you.
Oh yeah.
Total
Well,
respect here, man. Total respect.
a lot of times I got total respect for you, bro. A lot of times, I say stuff that I don't put out there until it happens, but
Right.
I tell you on Skype.
Mhm.
So that's why you say my record is where it is.
Oh, it is.
So
I mean, like you've gave
yeah,
me so many search terms on Google, and I learned so much stuff. And it's kind of fun to watch the news, like 3 months later, and have it all break loose, and you're like, "Whoa, I knew that was coming." It would be like,
yeah,
"Thank you, Sword Point." You
yeah.
are the Sword Point, man. You're like in the lead. I love it. I love it.
Yep,
And
on the ground, close in.
everybody needs to check him out on Sword.9. It's going to be great. I can't wait to see the
We're,
whatever you got coming up too, because I know it has to be good.
oh, the next one's going to be just on. It's going to be with a friend of mine, just like the last one, and it's going to be on chimeras. You know, is it just a myth or is it a way of life? Just a little tease, folks. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
chimeras like that's like a DNA thing, ain't it?
a chimera is just a mythical beast
Right.
made up of different body kind of parts and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
But you know, I'm going to weave it in with this other person as more esoteric and to be about the human being. I think you'll like it. You know what I'm saying? A mythical beast, and what they actually are doing with DNA to try to make chimeras too, and AI, the other stuff. But I mean, I also want to take it to a different esoteric level. So I think it should be fun. Just like when you were on, I let you talk because you know I'm the host, and we had great fun, and that's what I want him to do. Same kind of thing.
Sweet. Well,
So,
I'll be tuned in for sure. I'll be tuned
all
in.
right, brother.
I'm all
I'll be.
subscribed too, so I get the
Yeah, I'm
little alert. You
subscribed.
know, I even
Yep,
put the click on the bell. Right.
Yes, I'm subscribed, and there's a little bell right next to the subscribed button for Alan's post. Hit that little bell. That way you'll get notified whenever he has a show on. And if he's got a Patreon, PayPal, whatever, his show is worth donating to. All right. Much love, Alan.
Right on, my
You and your
man.
people have. I will stay on the chat and look around. You guys have a blessed night. Be safe. Be well.
Right on, you too, brother. You have a good
All
one.
right, brother. Peace.
Peace
Bye-bye.
out. I think I got to disconnect it. That was fun. I love this guy. I hope he calls in a lot more. I have no idea what my phone is doing. It kind of acts like it died there for a minute, but it didn't. Yeah, so that was really fun. And really interesting. Like, uh, I recommend everybody go and subscribe. Yeah, I do have a Patreon and a patron or whatever you call it. It's called Squatch Zone. If you go over there, I haven't been doing much with it. I just am. I'm barely learning how it works, and so what I found out was, well, what I was wanting to do was when I save the video, I want it to like Twitter. I can make it go like the videos they'll post on my Facebook and on my Twitter and stuff like that. Well, Patreon isn't like that. You have to go and post things on Patreon. So I just realized that, and so I'm gonna start posting the videos on Patreon, and then they did something new on YouTube where you can put links when I go out in the field and I come back and talk about it live, I can put a link at the end of the video or anywhere in the video, I guess, but more towards the end of the video that links it to what I'm going to put up. Like I talk about it live and then I upload the other one and the link will go to it. So I'm learning about all this stuff. It's kind of fun, man. DNA, huh? Something I have a donate button on my YouTube channel. It's not prominent, like up in the right in the cover picture on the right side there. My PayPal is on there, and what it is it says William Thomas. That's my banking information is William Thomas, right? I couldn't get away from that. I couldn't be Allen in my bank. I had to put my first name because my social security card and everything was William, right? Even though everything else is Allen. but then because PayPal works with your bank, they want to make sure they got the right person, so you can't use like a nickname or anything. So my PayPal says William Thomas. So anybody that clicks on it and sees William Thomas, that's me, you know. And why would I put if it wasn't mine, why would it be on my YouTube? Because I get people messaging me saying they're afraid it's not me. It's like nobody has hacked my YouTube. It's me, you know. I don't know. Maybe I should put a picture with William Allen Thomas, you know, on there. But to tell you the truth, why I'm Alan and not William or Bill or Billy is because when I was growing young, my dad's name was William. Everybody was William, okay? Everybody. And so somebody would come in and say William or Billy or Bill or something like that, and everybody would go, "What?" Well, around 5 years old, I had enough of that. And I didn't want to be Willie, Billy, you know, all that stuff, you know. So I said, okay, I'm Alan. From now on, I'm going by Alan because I'm, you know, we're not going to play this. Somebody come in and say Billy, Bill, Willie, whatever, and everybody jumps up, right? I'm not playing that game no more. So if they don't say Alan, then I'm not even gonna look, and I wouldn't. And a lot of them got mad at me because you know they're like, you're, you know, that's how it's been. Well, you know, from here on forth, it is not gonna be how it is. You know, yeah, and that's how it is now for a long time, except for when it gets legal. Then the legal people make you do it, and so I have to go by William, the first name. You know, Facebook almost tried to make me do it. They were saying that I was using my middle name, and it was like a nickname, and Facebook's getting all legal beagle and making people go by their proper name, you know. But I fought them and I won because it is my proper name, right? It's on my birth certificate. It's my middle name, and I go by my middle name. And they can't make me not go by my middle name if I don't want to. You know, so there they go, you know. There you go. I mean, I would like to meet Joe Rogan. I would like to meet him maybe one day. I would do the business account thing, but then it changes up. I mean, I'm not a business yet. I don't even make. I mean, seriously, like YouTube. Last month I made like $8. You know, it you don't even get paid on YouTube until you make $100. And I used to get paid once a month on YouTube. I mean, I wasn't making a lot of money. You know, it would be like dinner or a movie, you know, I'd make right around $100. Now I haven't got paid from YouTube in months. I think my balance is sitting right around $56 right now. So I still have another $44 to make, and I was looking at it currently. I'm sitting, you know, for this month. I think I have $9 going towards that 54. So I'll be at, say, by the time the end of the month rolls around, I'll have like $65. You know, it isn't about the money to me or anything, but I do want to get out to a wider audience and really talk about like I know that the name is Squatch Zone, but you know that I'm way more than that. You know, when it was Paranormal Central, I actually asked Jeff. You know, I told him, "Hey, man, you want to grow?" I mean, we weren't growing. We weren't on Art Bell or anything like that. But I put it on. I put it on YouTube, and we went over a million and a half views in 6 months or something like that. I mean, we weren't gaining subscribers, but people were watching like crazy. You know, we're getting the views, 30, 40,000 views on these videos. And that's really when I was getting paid from YouTube. But right before me and Jeff split, YouTube changed how they do business, and now nobody makes money on YouTube. So how it gets now, I mean, I would have to have a bazillion subscribers, and so the whole idea for me is, if I could get it back to where I can, put a part or buy a different light, or upgrade my computer or something like that. That's all I'm trying to do now. I don't care to make a living. I already, I mean, I don't have to do this. I make enough, barely enough to survive off of Social Security. And I mean, I can live and pay my rent and pay my bills and my car insurance and stuff like that. And so, I mean, I don't need to make any money, really. I'm enjoying the whole process more than anything. In fact, I like helping people, like Sword Point 9, for instance. He needed help getting his equipment together so that he could do his own YouTube channel. And then I just talked to another friend tonight, and she wants to do not so much a YouTube channel, but she wants to have a recording booth and for her tribe so that she can record language and stories and stuff like that, and get this all recorded and save their culture. You know what I mean? And so I'm helping her get all set up on a recording thing. If you guys want to do anything, I'll help you guys. Oh, I see Amanda's leaving. Good night, Amanda. But yeah, I do. I have a Patreon, and I'm changing everything to Squatch Zone, so it's like, I don't get that much. I wish I did. I get half that. What you're talking about, Renee, I get half that amount a month. So I'm not rich by any stretch of the imagination. Back when I worked at the casino, though, I was making six figures, and I was doing really well. And then the doctor made a mistake. Oops. And that was the end of that, right? Lost my career, lost everything fighting to get that half that Social Security amount. I couldn't sue the hospital or the doctor in California, and then they had a 3-year statute of limitations. So I wound up getting screwed on that deal, right? The doctor's still driving around in his sports car, but mine is gone, and so is my ranch. So is everything that I ever worked hard for. Guns. I used to have like a whole big old safe full of guns. I don't even have a squirt gun now. But you know what? I'm not bitter or anything. I'm alive. I'm actually doing something I'm really having fun with now. I have really good friends pick me up, and we go out and we look for Bigfoot, and we're going in places that I always, what would you say, theorized that Bigfoot would be. It just made sense to me that Bigfoot would be down in the orchards and where everything's growing, all the vegetables and fruits and all that stuff. And then I started studying Google Maps and looking at all the maps, like how could, if it was coming down here in the valley, how could it get down here? How could it get around? How could it hide? And how could it do it without being seen? And then I've been going out and trying to prove my theory, and I think I'm hot on its trail, really. And I'm enjoying it because at first, we started getting reports around the foothills. That was when we were with Jeff, Avocado Lake, and then we were with those guys. Me and Isaiah and Jeff are over at Reedley, and we watched one run down the river on his what do you call it, his FLIR for his iPhone. We watched a Bigfoot run right down the middle of of a river in a city. Okay, in a city. And it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. This thing goes running down, and now it's seen us. Like at first, it didn't see us, right? It was there, and it was big, and it was making all kinds of noise. And I told Isaiah, hey, grab some rocks and clack them together, and we'll see what happens. Right away, it clacked the rocks back, and then it was like, oh my God, it's a Bigfoot in there, but only it couldn't see us, and so it wanted to see what was making the rock clacking noise. So it came out of the bushes to get a good look at us to see like if it had a challenge of Bigfoot or not, right? And as soon as it saw us, and it was pitch black. I mean, it probably maybe could have seen our silhouette from streetlights behind us, but it took off. We couldn't see it at all, except for in Jeff's FLIR. And there it goes, running down the river, and faster than blazes too. I mean, it ran like 150 yards in seconds. I mean, like 3 seconds, 4 seconds. I mean, it freaking just disappeared. Flat was gone that fast from one side of the river, and it crossed the river without even splashing. So that meant it had to like leap the river like in one stride. You know what I mean? It went across the river and didn't even touch the water. There was no way that it touched the water. We would have heard a splash, and there was no splash. In fact, once it got out in the open, it didn't make any noise again. It was gone. It took off running, and it was gone. And it was real interesting. And then that I'm doing what I love now, and I'm really loving it. And I'm loving enjoying. I really love like hanging out with you guys and getting your, like, you guys leave really good comments, and I mean, there's thought that goes into it and stuff, and you guys give me leads and tips and things to think about and stuff like that, and I love all that. I love all the input that you guys put in. In fact, that's why I like doing the chat, because we get to interact. Like, instead of me recording something and then throwing it out there, and then going back and reading the comments, I get to read live. I get to read what you guys are doing. Man, I've heard him do the same thing, man. The crybaby noises. In fact, one day we were down in what we call the spot, and the we heard a baby crying, what we thought was a baby crying, and we were thinking, no way, there's no Bigfoot. I mean, there's no baby down there. You know what I mean? We're the only ones here. We had to go through a locked gate, and then we were like a couple of miles down this trail. There was no way there was a baby in there. You know what I mean? We've been in the area 100 zillion times. There's nobody in there. Okay. And then all of a sudden, we must have got too close or something to its baby, I think. And then all of a sudden, it just started roaring. I mean, like, it was roaring so loud that my whole body was vibrating. And I wasn't the only one. There was like 4 or 5 of us there, and we were all feeling the roar. Okay, not just hearing it, feeling it. And it was a good half a mile away, and we were still feeling that. And it was roaring about every 30 seconds, and it was coming at us. We were like, oh my, it's coming, here it comes, Really was that was scary. And in fact, that's where the joke came in, because I can't walk all that great, and Danny's like, he wasn't worried. When we get to the top and we're up at the truck, he's like, he goes, I'm not worried, because all you have to do is outrun me. Everybody's safe that could outrun me. So it's easy. You could outwalk me. You know what I mean? You don't even have to run. You just have to walk fast, and you could be faster than me. And I was thinking, I'm going to flip this cane around and use the handle. I'm going to trip everybody as they try to go by, and I'm going to keep doing that. I'll hammer them in the head, and I just keep on trucking as fast as I could go. You know what I mean? Like, I know how to use a cane. Like, they better watch out, They'll face plant. And then I'll step on them as I go by and make sure that they're behind me the whole time. I'd be using that cane like this, like a pool stick behind me. They come running up, now, boom, I hit them in the gut, make them fall down. But yeah, yeah, that's right. You just only have to outrun me. If you like, I'm probably the best guy to go bigfooting with or squatching with because you're safe. As long as you're with me, you just out like fast walk and you're leaving me behind. That's where you were hearing it out by 33 on Highway 33. You mean you're talking about like out by Mendota or Los Banos or someplace out there? Is that where you're talking about? In California? Man, because that's where I was at. That's where I found the box with all that stuff on the side of the river. That was out there like almost to Mendota on the river. That's where that box is in that. So I know there's Bigfoots out there, man. There is, and I've had a few people tell me about it, and that's what I was doing, was going out there and investigating where they said they uh, saw the thing. Like the first stop that we made, just recently, a friend of mine told me actually it's a pharmacy tech, and he's a friend now because he's been my pharmacy tech for a few years, but that's the only way I know him. And he was telling me, I mean, he saw a Bigfoot cross the road. So I went to where he said, and there was a dead hawk uh, on the side of the road, right where it was almost like hawk marks the spot. And then from that time on, it was weird all the way. We went all the way out to the past I-5. And any time these things can go all across the valley, following the creeks and the canals and stuff like that. And I mean, there's no reason for them not to be running around eating pistachios and almonds and anything that's available like right now or anytime. I mean, I think they run anytime they want through the valley. There might be some that live down here and never even go to the mountains. They just stay down here because there's so much food, rabbits and birds and gardens and everything. I mean, everything grows down here. I mean, it's a really good place for Bigfoot to be, and I actually am enjoying looking for him down here, even though I'm waiting for spring. And I'm going to hit the mountains again too, because there's some places in the mountains that it's been a minute since I've been over there, and I used to find a lot of tracks and sign and hear them like what you were talking about. They mimic owls and dogs and cats and everything. They even mimic us. That, like, I've heard my name called so many times, it's like they say my name. You know what I mean? Once they hear my name, then they start saying my name. And what's really weird is, like, I could be gone 3 years out of the area and then start hiking back in to an area I haven't been in a few years, and I'll hear my name. It's like they did not forget who I was. They say my name. You hear your name, you're like, what? You know, yeah, the chatter, like, I mean, it's the weirdest sound that that's the one that's them talking though. Like that's those guys talking. But yeah, oh man, I'm getting goosebumps. You guys are woo. I get goosebumps thinking about that. Like especially my name being called. That's the really freakiest thing in the whole world. But I would love to stay and chat, but I gotta go. My wife had a procedure today, so she's flat on her back. Yesterday, my mom fell and hit her head, and she has two new hips, like two, and she's telling me, well, you don't have to worry about my hips breaking anymore, because the doctors told her she'll never break her hips again. But I'm worried about all the other bones, right? I mean, it was just right here. She fell right here. I was sitting right here, and she hit the ground, and I mean, it was bam. I heard my mom fall down, and she hurt her elbow, and I maybe bruised some ribs or pulled a muscle down in her ribs. So she's out. And I told him I'll be really quick. I'm just gonna get in, see what everybody's doing, say hi to everybody. Love you guys. I'm praying for everyone. I'm praying for the brain cancer. Is it brain cancer? I'm praying for that one. Uh, we're gonna make sure that tumor dies. I'm gonna keep praying for it after this show. I pray for everyone in here all the time. You guys rock. I love you guys. Just remember that. You're my people, the Squatchers. Real quick, I got some new designs that we came up for. Actually, it was Chuck from Riverside. I won't say his last name, but it's Chuck. He made some pictures, and I just found them. I saved them into a file, and I came across them, and they would make great T-shirts. So I'm gonna have a few new designs. In fact, one of them will be the video, the thumbnail for this video after this saves. That'll be one of them. Right on, you guys. Thanks for all the prayers. All the prayers are coming back at you. So I gotta get though, and I'm enjoying it so much it's hard for me to leave. You know that, don't you? Right? Um, if you have any good, I want to hear some good Squatch stories, man. It's starting to warm up, and I know you guys are out there, so I want to hear some good Squatch stories coming my way here pretty soon. Okay, guys, you guys have a good weekend. Maybe I might come back in the weekend. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But have a good one.